Welcome, Aries. Both the longtime cosmic gladiators and the newly awakened firecrackers just starting to decode the language of the stars. You've landed on Zodiac Talks Tarot, where we don't just dabble in surface-level horoscopes or throw around clichés like expect surprises. No. Around here, we blend deep astrological insight with the sharp edge of psychological wisdom and, occasionally, the peaceful calm of Buddhist philosophy, because sometimes, the only way to handle a fiery Mars transit is with a monk's breath and a warrior's heart. And Aries, this one's hitting close to home. On May 18th, 2025, we've got a cosmic event that's less of a gentle nudge and more of a celestial slap across the face, Mercury square Mars. Now, for anyone else, that might mean some communication hiccups or a short fuse. But for you, Aries, whose ruling planet is Mars, it's like the universe decided to hand you a microphone and a megaphone at the same time while locking you in a room with your own thoughts. This isn't just a tense alignment. It's a full-blown inner standoff between your head and your gut. Mercury is all about logic, language, slowing things down. Mars, on the other hand, wants action, passion, and preferably some sparks flying. So imagine trying to meditate inside a volcano while writing a thesis paper. Yep, that's the vibe. This square isn't here to punish you. It's here to wake you up. And the truth is, you've been sensing something building. A restlessness. An urge to speak, move, change, even if you can't quite name the what or the why yet. That's Mars talking. But Mercury, bless its methodical little circuits, wants you to think first. And let's be real, Aries, thinking first isn't exactly your love language. You're the Zodiac's spark, born to act, to initiate. But during this transit, if you don't pause and listen, you might burn bridges you didn't even mean to light on fire. Now here's the kicker, Mercury is currently plodding through Taurus, slow and steady like a bull deciding where to nap. Meanwhile, Mars is strutting through Leo, ready to put on a one-man Broadway show. One part of you wants to think things through, the other wants to torch the to-do list and start a revolution. Sound familiar? That's the tension. But it's also the invitation. Because if you can hold that tension without letting it explode, if you can breathe through the urge to react and instead respond, you'll access a level of clarity most people miss. You don't have to choose between brain and brawn, Aries. You were born to fuse them. And in this year of triumph, that fusion could be the very thing that turns your chaos into power. Let's talk about that buzzing, pulsing, borderline explosive tension you're probably feeling right now, Aries. You might be tempted to label it as stress, burnout, or just another chaotic Tuesday, but don't be so quick to shove it under the rug. See, from where I sit, having spent decades charting stars and studying the human psyche, I can tell you this: mental pressure is rarely just a nuisance. It's more like your soul tapping you on the shoulder, or, in your case, whacking you upside the head with a cosmic frying pan. When that little voice inside says, "I can't take this anymore," it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's your higher self raising a red flag like, hey, this situation, this feeling, it matters. If something is poking at your peace, Aries, don't ignore it. Follow it. That discomfort is a breadcrumb trail back to what you've been avoiding, and let's face it, avoidance isn't really your style anyway. Now, let's bring the body into this, because Mars, your muscle-bound planetary ruler, and Mercury, the nervous system overlord, are currently staging a WWE match in your chakra system. Got tense shoulders? Headache? Can't sleep? That's not just bad posture or too much caffeine, it's energy trying to escape. Ever feel that tightness in your chest, like your heart wants to scream but your throat forgot the words? Yeah. That's blocked self-expression. The body isn't betraying you, it's broadcasting. And if your hands are tingling or your legs won't stop pacing, you're not broken, you rewired for release. So stretch, Go punch a pillow, scream into your steering wheel, or do that weird dance you invented during lockdown. Trust me, better out than in. But be warned, Aries, while your fists may want to fly, it's your words that might do the most damage right now. Under this Mercury-Mars square, your tongue is sharper than usual. One sarcastic jab, one fiery text, one I just had to say it moment and boom, you've launched a 3-day emotional hurricane. Think before you speak, like you'd think before getting a forehead tattoo. Ask yourself, will I still stand by this once the lava cools? Because words, once out, don't come with a backspace key. Choose them like you choose your battles wisely, with just enough fire to be real, but not enough to burn the bridge you might need to cross again. Let's get one thing straight, Aries, you're not going crazy. You're just caught in a cosmic traffic jam where your past regrets are rear-ending your future fears, and your present self is just trying not to scream in the middle seat. If you've recently found yourself replaying an argument from 2019 with cinematic detail, wondering what you should have said, or worse, if you're anticipating a conversation that hasn't even happened yet but you've already won, or lost, 3 imaginary rounds, that's the Mercury square Mars talking. This isn't just mental clutter. This is psychic time travel, and right now your inner monologue probably feels like a courtroom drama and a disaster movie rolled into one. But here's the twist, these mental reruns aren't just pointless suffering. They're pointing somewhere. Every memory that resurfaces, every fear that flares up, is a breadcrumb from your subconscious trying to lead you back to something unfinished, something that needs to be seen, healed, or finally let go. The discomfort? That's the doorway. You don't walk through fire without sweating, Aries. But sometimes, sweating is how you shed what no longer fits. And speaking of heat, let's talk relationships. Because right now, yours might feel like you're walking through a minefield with a flamethrower strapped to your back. And guess what? You lit the pilot light. But before you panic, let's zoom out. This energy isn't creating chaos in your love life or friendships, it's revealing what's already there, buried under layers of avoidance, politeness, or I'll deal with it later. Passive aggression is off the charts. Eye rolls are weaponized. And don't even get me started on those "did you just say that" moments. Emotional outbursts, ghostings, explosive truths, they're all part of the purge. It's like spring cleaning for your soul connections, Aries. Uncomfortable? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. Because sometimes the most healing sentence you can speak isn't poetic or profound, it's just finally saying what's been rotting in your throat chakra for the past 3 years. Whether it's "I need space," or "that really hurt," or actually, "no, I am not okay with that," this transit is daring you to stop holding it in. And if you can be brave enough to speak from truth instead of defense, even the messiest blow-up can become a turning point toward deeper connection or much-needed release. Now, let's talk about the emotional roller coaster that has you wondering if you're secretly auditioning for a soap opera. Mood swings right now aren't a sign of instability, they're a sign of sensitivity. And sensitivity, despite what you've been told, isn't weakness. It's perception. That moment of unexplainable rage, that tightness in your chest when someone didn't mean anything by it, that sadness you can't quite name. All of it is data. Aries, you're not just reacting, you're receiving. Your emotional system is like a built-in GPS, and every mood swing is a blinking light saying, "You're off course. Reroute required." Don't shove those feelings down. Don't distract, deny, or dismiss them. Study them. Track the pattern. Ask yourself, what's this feeling trying to show me? Because in the realm of real transformation, irritation is often the first breadcrumb that leads to liberation. Which brings us to the good news, the kind of good news that doesn't always feel good right away. This whole wild ride, this tension, chaos, emotion, and mental noise? It's not just a meltdown waiting to happen. It's a breakthrough in disguise. Mercury square Mars, when used wisely, is a launchpad. It's a cosmic bootcamp where your thoughts and your actions get forced into the same room and told to figure it out. You don't get to dream without acting anymore. You don't get to act without thinking it through. For the chosen ones, and if you're still reading this, I'd bet you're one of them. This alignment isn't about survival. It's about integration. It's about marrying clarity with courage, logic with passion, strategy with soul. So what does that mean for you, Aries? It means that this could be the moment where the fog lifts and you finally see the path ahead, not as something you have to bulldoze your way through, but as something you get to shape with intention. The vision is coming. The fire is already here. The only question is, are you ready to dance with it? Because the portal's open, and on the other side, a version of you that no longer has to argue with the past or fear the future. Just be the force of nature you already are. On purpose. Unapologetically. And finally, with full awareness of just how powerful that truly is. Alright, Aries, let's talk about how to actually use this intense Mercury-Mars energy instead of letting it turn you into a human fire alarm. I've been studying this cosmic dance long enough to know one thing: when Mars is involved, especially when it's your ruling planet, it's not the time to wait and see. It's the time to channel that fire, or else you'll find yourself picking a fight with your toaster for looking at you funny. First up, move your body. Seriously. Mars doesn't like stillness. He's the god of war, not the god of napping. If you're sitting too long, you're basically bottling lightning. Go for a run. Hit a punching bag, take an aggressive walk around the block like you're storming into a boardroom. Whatever it is, just don't sit on that energy or it'll sit on you. Next, pause before you react. I know your default is act now, ask questions never. But during this transit, silence isn't weakness, it's weaponized wisdom. One beat of breath can save you a week of backpedaling. Now, let's talk about your brain. Journal it out. Think of your mind as a cluttered desktop. You need to hit export before it crashes. Your thoughts are trying to download clarity. Give them a space where they won't explode in someone else's inbox. Then, listen to your body. That stiff neck? That pit in your stomach? That's not random. That's your body waving little red flags, like, hey, you've got emotional static in your frequency. It's not betrayal, it's feedback. Also, cut through the fog. You're Aries. You are the cosmic sword. This is your moment to slice through the BS internally and externally. That cloudy indecision? Not your natural habitat. And if things get too intense, create something. Doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Doodle. Build a playlist. Rearrange your furniture like it's emotional feng shui. Creation is fire with purpose. Finally, act consciously. This transit isn't random. It's a setup. The choices you make now aren't just for today, they're rebuilding your next chapter. So do what Aries does best: lead. But this time, lead with awareness, not just adrenaline. Because when you harness this energy like the cosmic pro you were born to be, that's not just survival, that's transformation. Alright, Aries, here's the bottom line from one fire walker to another. Don't waste your time fearing this Mercury-Mars square. Fear is for people still trying to read their birth chart like it's a BuzzFeed quiz. You're here for more. You weren't born to play it safe, shrink yourself, or sit on the sidelines of your own life. You were born to lead the flam, walk barefoot if necessary. So instead of flinching at the heat, dance with it. Breathe deep. Speak your truth, but do it with compassion, not combustion. And if this message hit you somewhere between your third eye and your solar plexus, that's not coincidence. That's alignment. Remember, in the year of triumph 2025, chosen ones like you don't just survive messy transits and cosmic curveballs, you alchemize them. You turn friction into fuel, chaos into clarity, and breakdowns into bold new beginnings. So live a little louder, laugh a little harder, and don't just chase your joy, hunt it down with Aries-style enthusiasm. And hey, if you found something real in this reading, don't keep it to yourself, like it, share it, and hit that subscribe button to stay tapped in with Zodiac Talks Tarot. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a soul tribe. And Aries, we're just getting warmed up.